Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our remote reading practice target session this evening. Aesthetic Impact Informational Services presents practice target 130206, and it's the conservatory at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. And this is the only feedback image that you have. So this is the target and the location that you should have tried to view. Although this, if you get online and view this target, this is a really interesting place. It's huge, and they change it with the seasons, and there's all kinds of activities and stuff going on. But Lynn Buchanan is with us for just a little bit, and he's going to have to go in about 20 minutes or so. But we'll try to get through some of these sessions. And as you'll see, there's a heavily tropical, an environment with a lot of foliage. There are flowers. And some of you may not have such a good viewing screen. But we have, like I said, several kinds of plant organics. We have flowers. We have vegetation growing in water. There's a pool right in front of the center of the picture. There's looks like a crescent-shaped lattice, like a grill wire area straight ahead.
That's for weddings.
For weddings? Oh, how cool is that? And lots of biologicals doing lots of things. We can't really see too much in the background as far as tables or anything like that. The structure around it that looks like a greenhouse is huge. It's very expansive, and like I said, if you get on the net and put the images into a search engine, you're going to see that metal framework and the glass go for a really long distance, and it's got a pattern to it in and of itself. And there are tile floors and arched doorways and more arched windows. And Lynn, you're familiar with this location. Do you want to add anything?
This is right off the main lobby, and the main lobby is the reception area, of course, but it has a, I guess you would call it a candelabra or something, that, you know, a light fixture above it that is world famous. It's all glass and made to look like flowers and so on.
But that's not close to this, is it?
Yes, it's very close to it. It's right at the entrance to this. And excuse me, I'll be back.
Okay. Well, Lynn will be right back. We actually were at this facility walking around when we were at the IRVA conference a few years ago, and a group of us were walking around.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
That's all right. You're on again.
And it's actually a beautiful place, and like you say, they change it with the seasons. And I was noticing, I think it was John's summary, where he very accurately describes this. The place, I mean, just smells like a flower shop, you know, and it has the running water, and they always have some kind of a running water feature. So it's a beautiful place. I mean, the Bellagio is one of the most expensive hotels in town. Other hotels you can stay for like $40 a night or something, and this is over $500 a night. But you know, it's open to the public, so if you get a chance to go to Las Vegas, stop by the Bellagio and go in and see this, and also go back at night and watch their dancing fountains. It's fantastic. They really put on a show. So yeah, but this place was pretty accurately described by John's summary there.
I was going to try and get through a couple of these before you had to go. Michelle's is up first, and she has 10 pages. And Michelle is, again, a basic viewer. Ooh, that was a jump. Didn't want to go quite that far. A basic viewer. It's probably pushing around 20 targets or so, maybe a little more, and she's getting her structure down. She's been working really hard about that. And working on hanging in there and not going for the mind candy, which we all want to do immediately. Want to be done. So anyway, I had commented on her session and sent it back to her. And Michelle, if you want to, do you have a mic? Yes, you do. So if you want to jump in here, I am not going to be able to go over these tonight perception by perception. We just have too many.
Yes.
Go ahead,
well, I'm not sure, how clear my session was for this specific target, but I feel that, I stayed with it, and so now I'm like, looking as closely as I can, and I'm proud of myself for sketching, because as you know, I kind of had an aversion to that, and so I'm proud that I just took off with my pen. And so when I was looking at the, right when it came up, the target, that part made me kind of happy. But as far as me being right with it, no. Once again, I think that I was doing something, but I'm not sure it was this.
Well, your session came back to you with comments on it, and we broke down how to write out your land is, and which each of these descriptors, so you can decide if it's a yes, a no, or a maybe. Deciding that the biologicals are from a far away, long ago tribe. There may be some ethnic groups walking around there, but I don't know about anything, so you know how to score that. And maybe a little bit of castle building there with the actual activity of building something right there. But this is a very busy place. They change it up all the time.
Yes,
so,
I've heard that Las Vegas is a confusing place.
Yeah, and there are gardeners going through here all the time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are gardeners going through here all the time. And, those flowers are not so much planted as, just in potted things. And the minute one of them shows any sign of dying or anything, it's plucked and replaced. And so,
when you look at this big planter down here, and I'm not waffling, I'm just saying, you've got your castle building insofar as naming the guys with their seesawing and back and forth, but these, like Lynn just said, those flowers look bad, they move them. And these are huge planters sitting all over the place. So I'm just saying, and there's a lot of foliage here that we can't see what's going on behind it.
I was wondering, too, you put stray cat, that you heard some metal clanking and all that?
Yes.
And I was wondering why, if you heard it, you called it a stray cat.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question, Lynn. I think I'm still new enough at this that when something new comes into me, then I just push it off to the side. So yes, I'm learning a lot, especially, on a night like tonight. I'm really paying attention to this, and that's an excellent question that I will be delving deeply into.
Okay, yeah. It's good to be cautious, but when you get a perception like that, you don't always have to call it a stray cat. And, sometimes you can, sometimes it all depends on how much faith you have in it. But if you were standing right where this picture was taken, to your back, pretty far back, in fact, would be the reception area and the lobby where everybody comes into the hotel and all that. But off to the right of this, to the right and at the far end of this area, is a garden restaurant over there. And so you're going to hear the, you know, clanging of silverware and plates and everything else. And so that sound is actually there.
So, Lynn, when I'm hearing that sound, what am I saying to myself?
Well, you didn't, I like the fact that you didn't say, you know, I hear the sound of, and use a noun and all that. You actually used a descriptive, you know, just pinging sound, metallic pinging sounds and all that. And so that's exactly what you should write, you know. Many times people who are hearing sounds or something like that will say something like, oh, I hear a motor sound. Well, this is your opportunity actually to go back and say, was it a deep motor sound? Was it a loud, heavy? Was it intermittent? Was it continuous? And so on. And so like the metal pinging sounds, pinging pretty well describes the, you know, the frequency of it and everything else. It's not a metallic buzz or something like that. It's a pinging. And that's a fantastic description of what you actually hear. So this right here, if this were moved over to the left side, that'd be perfect. But you know, each one of these, like you say pinging, okay, metal pinging. Is it really high pitched? Is it low pitched? Is it you know, loud, soft? Is it intermittent? And things like this. And as you ask yourself those questions and go back and listen to the sound some more, it will actually draw you further into the site. And you'll start picking up a whole lot more stuff.
Good.
And so that's why I was curious as to why you called it a stray cat. It was a perfect description of the sound that is actually there. And you know, if you grab hold of something like that and just find out more about it, it will actually draw you more into the site. Now, the question is, what if it's not there and you grab hold of it and, you know, hey, welcome to remote viewing. But the fact is that as you get more into the site, you will redefine that into what is actually there. And so, you know, just kind of retasking yourself as you go along, you can really get some good stuff, and you can get some good site contact.
Good.
So
thank you.
Yeah, that was a beautiful description of what was there.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump down to Jed's just because we have the opportunity to look at his dowsing and stuff. Michelle, oh, that's not the thing to do. I'm going to have to give your mic to Jed. I have to do a little administrative things here. Now, let's see, Jed, hopefully we've got a mic for you. There you go. Oh, now you're over here twice. How'd that work?
I'm going to have to relinquish my mic because our guests are here.
Okay.
So, thank you for doing this, Teresa. And
you're welcome.
From what I saw just looking through these sessions, you got some good sessions going here.
Oh, yeah. You should see them, actually. I didn't get a chance to look at them all because so many of them came in the last 24 hours. But, yeah.
I'll come back and watch the recording of it.
Okay. Yeah, we have a couple of retaskings, too. So.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank everybody for participating in this. This is a great deal here.
Enjoy your evening, and thanks for coming.
Thank you. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. All right, well, let's see here. Jed, I have no idea why you're in here twice. And let's see if you can... Jed, are you there? Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah, let me try.
Okay. Let's see how many pages you have. You have a 12-page session this time. I hope I have the one of yours that's got your... I bet I don't. Because you sent a second one with your dowsing and your other stuff attached, right? Which means I have to go find it.
Well, my dowsing was off. I was experimenting around. I hear I got an echo here, too.
Yeah, somebody else's mic's open. Unless you have a mic open twice. You're listening. You can hear my feedback, and I can hear yours. And the other, for whatever reason, you're signed in twice, and actually, no, you're an attendee, so that one doesn't have a mic. So it's just you and I evidently playing off each other. So
Okay.
make sure do I have the right session here? I think I do. Yep, I do. I just didn't remember that big structure sketch of yours. Okay, so did you use hotspot dowsing on this one with your wrist? How did you do it this time?
The first one, oh, I hate this echo. The first one I did, so let's see if I can do something.
Do you have a mic in or you have speakers on?
I'm off my laptop, but I did have this problem last time.
If you don't have a headset and you're using speakers, that's why. Okay, so anyway, you were saying?
Well, there's two dowsing. The first one I tried with L-rods. That was my first attempt with L-rods. And I obviously didn't hit the target at all. And the second one attempt was with the wrist dowsing. And I still missed the target, but was better.
You know, this is one of the things that kind of worried me when you started this. There are so many ways to do it, and I'm thinking if you just did one at a time for a half a dozen sessions, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, how many of you tried so far? And you're mixing Paul's dowsing tape in with this, aren't you?
Yes. I'm planning on just staying with the wrist dowsing for this time. I did the pendulum, I did the L-rod, and I think my wrist is going to prove more fruitful.
Okay. So in your, you sent another email with the summary and dowsing included.
Yes.
Okay, so you had, this time it's well-built, medium, short. They're biologicals, which are intelligent. And...
Oh, this is the intern summary, not the written one.
Yeah. Because, that was another question I had coming back from you. You had, the last 2 or 3 sessions you had sent with interim summary. And I'm thinking, okay, what's with the interim summary and no summary? So.
Oh, yeah, for some reason it wasn't getting attached at the end of my, it wasn't getting saved with the, when I spliced them all together.
Uh-huh.
Did you get mine yesterday?
Your what?
I sent the session yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't even opened the email yet.
Okay.
So, no, I had all these to take care of. So, no, I didn't even look at that one yet.
Just the intern summary can change from my written simply because I can see sometimes where I have a biological or a man-made interlaced with another description.
Okay, hang on. I just pulled up one of yours on my desktop. Okay, hang on. Y'all are going to get the strobe effect here because we're going to switch over to my desktop. I hope. There we go. A little psychedelic there. And here's Jed's other email that he sent with the rest of his session because I didn't get half his pages the first time around. So, okay, there we go. And we can enlarge the size so if I enlarge it now, you guys have control over this too. But I don't want to totally make everything so huge, like with his clay stuff. All right, so we have, here's his clay modeling, and I just have one image here that I'm looking at. Go ahead.
Yeah, the little figures are people. They're biological.
Okay. They look just like people to me. I know what you mean. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and I had that there was a raised area separate, well, it was within the same structure, but it was raised.
Okay.
And here's my L rod followed by the wrist.
Okay, well, and I take it here in the map of the United States that the circle, like right there, was supposed to be the location. It's a little easterly of Vegas.
Yeah, a couple thousand miles.
A couple thousand, really?
Well, 1,500.
And then your summary, your actual summary. I just enlarged it off the page.
I was looking at this, and it appears I'm more focused on human activity.
There's nothing wrong with being focused on the human activity unless you took front loading and then you know.
I tried to keep my session short. That was something you and I discussed earlier. So I kept it. That's why I have fewer perceptions.
Right. Well, that's because you were using every tool in your tool belt and turning in 60-page sessions, and I thought, you know, maybe we could try shortening you up a little bit for the sake of trying to get in and get some pertinent information and get out. So, just for the heck of trying something different with you. So, anyhow, doesn't mean it's a bad session because it's a somewhat short session. It's still 15 pages. There's definitely a lot of biological activity going on at the site. You didn't think it tasted very good.
Depends on what you're tasting.
Yeah. Hopefully none of those plants were poisonous. All right. Anything else you'd like to add? I mean, you're really trying a lot of good stuff here. You know, with the P6 tools and the dowsing, it only comes with practicing, and if you're only able to do a session every week or two, which is plenty, you know, it just takes time.
Mm-hmm. I've been trying to do 2 a week here for the last few weeks, and it takes quite a bit of time.
Yes, it does.
Especially if there's form and everything.
It's not like you're just getting in and doing a basic session and getting back out.
See, I got a question on the feedback photo. Is that a 2-tier? Is there a lower floor looking down?
No. Like a terrazzo or something?
I was just looking. What's the... I can't see the photo.
Hang on a sec here. Just a second. All right, now we get lots of pictures. But the thing is, if we're looking at this stuff as feedback, it's going to mess with your sessions because you're going to send that information back to yourself. So, but here you can see some of these images, how expansive that ceiling is. But no, I am like off to, I don't know if you can see where my cursor is, this image, well now. You can see there are balconies outside, but not actually in here. And the way they construct things with this, you know, there could be something just off to the side or whatever in that. All right, in there that we aren't able to see. But they build in, like here at this fall scene, there's a windmill and a building in there. So who knows what they've done. But I'm not seeing an actual balcony.
Yeah.
But that gives you some idea how they change it up, and it gives you a better idea of what the structure looks like. All right, well, I'm going to switch us back over, and we'll see. Jen, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
Kind of a lengthy session.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying compared to the powerhouses that you usually turn in are 56 pages long, but, you know, it's all right. It's all good. All right, so again, there's our feedback photo as we move along, and let me see here. There's Michelle's. I'm just going to try and remove a few of these so I have some sense of who's left and where we are. Okay, so now we have, all right, is Janine in here someplace? I think. Is full of your set sketches, as well as some junk that you've tried to analyze and thrown in there. And I didn't get a chance to look at your session at all, Janine. So, and congratulations on PDFing. I think this was her first one. I'm pretty sure it was Janine who had emailed me. Ooh, tracks and blood. Somebody smashed their finger with a hammer or something. And she's getting, seems to be a scenario or sense of rooms and situations. Something at the main part of the target. And it wouldn't surprise me if you guys would get some kind of temporary field impressions. And oops, I kind of wondered, okay, well, we might be a little bit out of order in scanning here, maybe. That's always a little challenge for me, just trying to sort out everybody's own personal style and methodology. You're getting palm trees, water, tropical feel, warm, white, nice structure. And you know, if you look at that feedback photo, it had some columns there. Might have elaborated on it a little bit, I don't know. Iron fence. There was an iron fence. They have weddings there. I'll be darned. Look at that sketch right there. With the, I don't know if that's where you use 6 large columns, 3 on the other side, another one more forward. Not sure what your sketch is supposed to depict. I'm keeping, no, I started over. Okay. You started your session over? Meaning like you took a break and started over? Uh-huh. She took a break or started her session over, in her words. Now she's hearing, there you go, with clanging, Michelle. She's hearing a bell. And people are gathered around a round table of cups and saucers. Oh, nicely typed out summary here. Okay. First impressions were of land and inclined levels, man-made structure, avenues, sunny skies, plants, and greenery. It was outside. A series of vignettes, different groups in different places. That's good. Some inside rooms and some outside. There were, I'm sure, groups and clusters of people passing through, and they weren't all together. And we have descriptions of all kinds of people. People rolling on a floor inside a room. Sounds like what Michelle was getting. And you've got a patio-like descriptions coming in. I don't know how you catch snatches of conversation. Good grief. Mild sunny day with a resort or vacation-like feel. And a swimming pool, rectangular with a low diving board. Well, we've not seen any diving boards. There could have been other stuff around. Don't know. And I don't know about kids and noise coming from it. All kinds of people description. Tomatoes. That'd be interesting if there's jet ski, small boat, or motorcycle in there. I don't think we're at an RV show here. Tall white building with windows, balconies, few trees, stately imposing structure, large columns on the front facade, and details about one of them, door, some type of round embellishments, 2 columns, a walkway, iron filigree type of railing, terrace type eating area or restaurant with round tables. Good grief. And I sensed a bell nearby. You guys are good. One very odd, some people with period dress and wigs, and they were standing around a table with cups and saucers, maybe actors. And, oops, note to me, myself and Lynn, try to anchor self target numbers and reminders. And so she didn't jump target. And any other suggestions to stay on target? And wandering off, that does happen. Lynn always just suggests that in the beginning, in your administrative area, you set aside your previous sessions up here where you write the date and the time. Lynn teaches us, like, one of the things to set aside things that are going to distract us, and you actually write. Let me get a whiteboard up here. Right. That's what I want to do. Okay. Let me see if I can write something. This little pen probably be an inch thick half the time. All right, so over here on the right side of your paper is your admin stuff, and I'll just write Teresa, that's me, da-da-da, and the date and the time and your location, such as your desk or your office or whatever, just so that you know if at some point in time you figure out you have lousy sessions when you're in the living room sitting on the sofa. We have great sessions when you're in your office. And so then you have your advanced visuals, or Lynn calls them POCAs, POCAs, previews of coming attractions. So if you have any flashes of what is at the target, like if you would have had a flash of greenhouse, that could hijack your session because it is an AOL, and you don't want it to hijack your session, so you need to set it aside for now. And if it's still there, if it's there at the site, frequently it will come back. So your advanced visual or POCA, you write that down here. Then you have your set-asides. And that's all this stuff that's going to distract you. Maybe you have a dog, maybe the phone's going to ring, previous sessions, and we'll go with fear of failure. Because that's, something we all think we're lousy viewers and we're going to do crap for work. And so we'll just write sessions and fear of failure. And there may be things going on in your life that you don't want to be public knowledge, which is fine. You just write down other. It'll be okay. For right now, and you always speak in the present tense. And of course, I'm trying to demo this from somebody. It never works. But you have to say each one of these, and you have to say them out loud. Okay, I know the dog may distract me while I'm in my session, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about, I'm not going to worry about the dog distracting me while I'm in session. For now, I am setting aside worrying about the dog distracting me in session. You don't want to say, I am going to set aside, because that is future tense. For right now, you are setting aside the dog distracting you in session. So you do that with each one of those things. Well, actually, at first you have to declare them as your distractors. So those are potential distractors. Then you're going to come down after you've listed them, and you're going to do what we call your set-aside, and you're going to say that out loud for each one of these, including previous sessions. So then that will take care of, hopefully, you jumping around from target to target. And then, as Lynn suggested, if you're having trouble with that, at the top of every page, write move to assign target and describe. And that way, maybe if you're having a problem with going off target, it'll help you stay focused. And then the important thing is, all these things that we set aside up here, that's your real life. You don't want to ignore the dog or the phone or previous sessions or fear of failure when you're out in real life. So at the end of your session, after you say end, you have to pick these back up. You write them each one out again, and that way, you know, your subconscious learns to trust you, and you are not, you know, going to set aside things that are really important. And I keep looking over to see if you're typing anything. So I don't know if that will help or not, but maybe you're welcome. I don't know if it will help or not, but you can try it. If anybody else has any suggestions for her, she did ask some questions there at the end. Go ahead, and we have a lot of experienced people in here. So, and John, you're in here. You're coming right along in the operational world too. So, I'm looking over, Janine, did you have anything else you wanted to ask or comment on? I'm watching to see if you type anything in. You got a lot of good perceptions. If you would go through those each one at a time, you're going to find a lot of yeses. Doesn't mean you have to get absolutely every one right. But if you look at the inside of the structure and look at your drawing right there, there are going to be a lot of similarities. And you have to look for general things too. Look for general shape, and don't try to make it into like the White House. I think you wandered around the target and didn't stay in the observatory. Got rooms of various types. Keep bringing yourself back to the assigned target. It is an interesting place to explore. I've actually been there. I was also walking around with people that I never get to see, so of course I didn't remember it the way I should have, I'm sure. But anyway, there we go. All right. Let's see, Adeline, I think you're in England, up in the middle of the night. Oh, there you go. Saw large columns, not the White House. I know I kind of pulled that out of the air. It was a really nice drawing of a structure, reminding me of the White House, especially with that curved crescent-shaped shape out front, like the pool. But anyway, Adeline, I think, is in England and is up in the middle of the night for this. So she is CRV as well, and doesn't have too many pages.
Oh.
Oh, there she is. Good morning.
Good morning. Or evening to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Anything you'd like to talk as we look through this? Go ahead.
I did struggle with this. The impressions weren't coming through as clearly or as quickly as usual. But what you just said about writing at the top of the page about move to assigned target and describe, that would have, I should have used something like that really. So I'll know another time. Yeah, I got the raised area. So yeah.
I've jumped down to your summary because you always list your perceptions linearly under your sketches.
Yeah.
So let's see. Your summary says that feels like an outside location, elements of man-made biological land and vegetation. They're gray, black, violet, dark blue, and shadowy. There are voices singing and chiming and ringing are heard here. Why are you guys in that ringing? Overall temperature is cold. Target is bright in medium contrast to its surroundings. The man-made structure number 1 is vertical, blocky, and hard, feels cold to the touch, has lines across it. The top of the structure is high, peaked, and layered. Overall structure colors are a mix of gray, dove gray, beige, and brown, and it tastes stony. And structure number 2, the top half is arched, curved, dark, causing a shadowy effect, and the half of the structure feels soft with hard edges. It's fuzzy and appears to have folds. And the lower area is raised, horizontal, hard, flat, symmetrical. angular, smooth with a pattern effect, and it smells wooden. The front vertical flat edge of the lower area appears to have symbols or writing on it, and underneath and in surrounding the structure is land. And one more page. The land, which is grass-like, smells and tastes earthy and is a mixture of yellowish, green, and brown colors. On the land there is life. There are multiple biologicals which are both scattered and grouped. There is up and down movement. They appear happy and joyful. There are oniony, sweaty, and sweet smells around the biologicals, and there is a separate biological. And then number 2, biological, which is solo, positioned centrally on lower area of man-made number 2 and enclosed under the top half of man-made number 2. Biological is a male human with long brown hair, looks to be wearing navy blue dark clothes on his body and a semi-soft curve-shaped black footwear. Oh, makes me think he's like an elf, okay? I got a flash of Buddy there. Buddy's dad. Seems to feel isolated and uneasy. In front of him is a thin, hard vertical object which is hollow and tastes metallic. And the vegetation, which are multiple, tall, sparse, and a mix of brown and green. So, what would you like to add, if anything?
I'm pleased with a lot of it, but because the picture, obviously there's lots of flowery smells and there's so much more to pick up on than what I did, and I don't know if perhaps I AOL'd quite a lot on the.
I don't think you have to beat yourself up quite so much, but
no, but overall I'm pleased. I feel I did okay.
I was going back to your actual sketch because you tend to describe areas and list perceptions within that sketch. So, did you actually have water anyplace?
No, I didn't pick up water.
I was looking here where you have like a tree and then a building behind it. I was just trying to correlate what you might have written. Ah, solo life over here. Did you have that down as a person? I bet you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have all kinds of people hiding out in the vegetation, walking around, so that's a little hard to be able to pick up for sure.
Yeah.
But look at that. We're touching base here. It has 2 columns right here for those of you. You were noticing we just had a report on columns, and I'm trying to see behind this you had a drawing of a structure. Look just where the windows end, and then it looks like a crown molding just where the dove-colored paint starts, and then underneath that there's a square. It's not a house or a freestanding structure, but probably maybe a doorway into another area or something. But I'm wondering if your subconscious might be drawing that. I don't know. Just trying to find things that could match. So. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else I can try and add? I don't know that I've done anything much to help you.
I can't. Sorry, I'm not quite with it at the moment.
Canopy protective shield type structure. I was just thinking about the ceiling.
Yes. Yeah, I did have that feeling that was definitely. Unfolded material. I don't know if I was picking up on the ribbon things that hang down.
And you might have been.
Possibly.
Because I was looking for somebody to get something with those. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry it's the middle of the night.
That's okay.
All right. Let's see here. We want the first one, not the retest one. All right. We have an empty sheet of paper here. All right. This would be Viewer X, whom I'm sure you're going to recognize. The usual stellar perceptions as far as the way he records. So we have, I'm going to go to the summary here. Oh, I forgot, this is the summary, I think, the whole thing. And where are you at? All right. This would be your original type session, so I didn't mess with it just to get it in here for everybody. Thank you for the PDF. Anything you'd like to add as we start to go through it? He had a mic. All right. Let me get a drink here because we have a lot of perceptions. Man-made is structural, blocky, stepped, rising, many horizontal, few props, vertically, grid-like, biological action, and further west. And let's see, we've got metallic poles, swooping lines between, bios on both sides. There's a tall cross-braced, steep vertical structure. This behind the swooping line, yellowish vehicle-like muffled transport. A low pitch line, canvasy structures, and tree line above the more left set of bios. And there's man-made with lots of, there's fabric-like, tassel-like foam cushion, and he's picking up pale yellow and pink colors, metallic and goldish. And I know you guys might be scrolling through this on your own, which I encourage you to do, actually. I usually don't sync these, so you're not stuck with me, but for the recording, for other people, I sort of have to go through them a little bit. There's natural from the right, curvy tree-like, and there's structural biological. It's half circle with low pitch, shrub like a pointed arch on a far left, and there's a multi-stumped tree swaying, and we're talking about some leaves. More wet left of this is aqua. I don't know if we're getting into actually water with that. And leaf-like rattles, so we've got sounds. And various colors, dark blue, black, green, blonde. Tastes are bitter, salted, and mint-like. And I don't know if Russ is here, just turned his mic off. He's been trying to view by Gestalt when he writes his perceptions down. Dimensions, we've got vertical, thick, round, curved arches, and back and forth motions. There's wateriness that seems round and contained. It's below the tall, steep diagonals, possibly rounded and cap-like. There's motion near to the water, split to the left. And secondary motion loops up and around and back. And the wateriness is contained, colored, and clear in different containers. Some are carbonated, they smoke and fizz. And some are capped. Are you telling us people are drinking soda there? Fishy, they're bird-like honkers. Beer can-like in the water, I hope not. But. And there's a drop-off, it's right of the first body of water. And kind of going over this. We've got 14 pages and a really fast retask. Kind of stuck on the fishy smell. Got a lot of water perception. And looks like somebody's wearing sandals. Describing how they're walking. And a lot of close descriptions of biologicals, features, which we don't have any close-ups to confirm that. And then there's a sketch and another sketch. Okay. That he probes for his perceptions. And then here's a retasking. It is I'm trying to think exactly how I worded his retasking. Summary site has biological presence, man-made structural with watery elements surrounding nearby man-made landscaping. Retask, man-made tall sleep slender, cross-braced, near vertical pointed structure. The diagram is very much like a tower, and at one point it strobes. And feels like it's going up and down. And I think I did ask him, it was something about the structure. I wanted to see if he could get that ceiling maybe. So has arched wishbone appearance at its lowest structural point, pitted, riveted, bumpy, metallic, glassy, and vegetation considered sculptural. And he has French in there. And colors are red, cranberry, sky blue, gray, brown, beige, raw umber. Nice touch, raw umber. Woody, grainy nearby. Smells like old landmark, has a museum aspect. Electrical, biologicals close, sweaty, and money or fee involved. Vegas, go figure. And industrial age and political component, music. And there are muffled, trafficy, whooshing, huffing, communicating sounds. And a door opening, closing like an elevator, AOL. Metallic and rattling. Temp seems higher than 58. And there's watery area nearby, spiral oval, high pitchy up down, spacey up here. Distant views, and people are curious, spooky, must be fear of height. And he's done 3 rocket launches recently, so we always have this discussion. He doesn't get to name what it is, so don't be telling me about rocket launches. Now, if you're setting aside rocket launches because they're distracting you and you're going to build a castle, that's one thing. But I emailed him back that he had lots of hits and lots of descriptions, and there he is. I thought he probably would score well if he scored in one perception at a time. He probably described a lot of things that could be found at this target. So, and there could be, Janine wrote, there could be a fish in the indoor pool in the observatory. Might be. And yeah, there's definitely a pool, and you're right. They might have some goldfish in there. I don't know that. Could be right. And I'm looking to see if Russ has anything he wants to type in. It's one thing, you know, we always talk about not having our name on our sessions and stuff, but in here it's kind of in a little bit of trouble because, you know, you're on screen and we're talking about your session. So I am going to continue to watch in case Russ is typing something in, but I'm going to go ahead and move to the next person. All right, John is here, and he had a retask as well. John, I thought I took your mic off. I clicked too fast. There you go. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Teresa.
9 pages. Would you like to talk to us about them?
Well, I worked this session about 2.5 weeks ago, and looking over the session compared to the photograph, I'm rather pleased. I'm actually scoring the session along with everyone else. I'm sure everyone else is scoring as well. I had 2 interesting stray cats while working this session. One was Jamaica, and after visiting that lovely island several years ago, I think it's pretty darn close to a very tropical paradise that I see in this photograph. The other interesting stray cat was Yankee Stadium. This environment gives me the sense of a man-made indoor enclosure with a outside environment inside. Well, in general, I'm very pleased. I'd also like to point out that several viewers had a sense of a bell ringing.
Yeah.
One of my personal interests is in the perception of alphanumerics. And if you simply look at the name of this conservatory, it is the Bellagio.
Yeah. How interesting.
I think they might have been perceiving that. I had no alphanumerics for this particular session, but I suspect they were actually taking up the name.
I'll be darned. You might have something there. I am looking at your summary, and I notice here you have session end, and then you started your summary. Did you take a break and come back and start to write it, or did you do it right then?
I did it right then. My instructor, Lori Williams, had taught me that I should actually have 2 sessions, end of session when I'm actually finished the viewing, and then an end of session when I complete the summary.
Okay.
It's just her style of instruction.
Got you. All right, we've got elements of water, motion, natural, bio, organic, airspace, and human, male, and you've got all kinds of different descriptions: 4 foot tall, crouching, under 25 years of age, blue and white color clothing, and another bio 2 is green, background, distant, tall, vertical, see-through structure, wooded, more than one, and water has aspects of under the human, flowing, ribbony, shallow, choppy surface, and aspects of warm outdoors, airspace does. I bet it was a little humid in there. And natural has aspects of hard, vertical, inclined, large, rocky, near the human, and it's gray in color. And your last page says aspects of swinging, dropping above ground, fast and slow motions. And you've got human laughing sound, ambiance, element of danger, and Jamaica ambiance. Okay, then we retasked you. Oops, that's not you. That's not you. Uh-oh. I know it wouldn't open your retasking. Just a second. We can switch to my desktop and we'll find it. Let me see here. All right. Target is retasking of structure. Describe the target. You had a see-through structure. I wanted to see what you would possibly bring forward here. Let me shrink this up just a little bit. So let's see. Man-made, stray cat of a flag. And man-made contains humans, horizontal sliding, old feeling. Move to assign target and describe. Yankee Stadium. You've got boxy hollow, thin walled, supporting humans. Size is 20 by 10, rectangular. Pale color, red, horizontal stripe. Sliding motion, warm. Fun human sounds, laughing sounds. And you have action-oriented. Your summary says target contains elements of man-made. Aspects of structure are boxy, hollow, thin wall, vertical, pale colored. Repeating just what you said you kept for your summary. Red horizontal stripe, rectangular, 20 by 10. Holding human, sliding motion. It's action, fun, ambiance, and outdoor ambiance. So anything you want to jump in there with. I assume this sketch here is what you were trying to, after your AI, you said your AI contains humans and it's fun.
Yes, it would seem that I'm focused right on the center of the photograph, the railing where weddings are held.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right there.
All right. Well, that wasn't the structure I thought you might go for, but that's okay. It's your session.
Very
I
interesting.
wanted to see what you might be able to get from that.
Very interesting.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, but I think those viewers should give themselves credit for Bellagio. Thank you.
John's giving you all a hand there. I can hear him. All right. Thank you for sending that session in. I appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody else is going to as well. And let's see. We have viewer 6 here. And viewer 6 is not with us. Let's see. Target is unknown. Elements of water, motion, man-made, male, energy, and bios. Water seems to be streaming or tapering off at the end, cooling as it were, reaching its lowest point. The motion is associated with the man-made. Man-made, there are multiple objects like a busy street or subway scene. Man-made objects are moving at various speeds. There's energy, and it seems to be an event that's generating large amounts of energy. Lights of various colors, and they appear to be a show or entertainment. The bios, some of them are looking to the right. Some appear to be in awe of what's taking place. There is a male, appears to be a fixture in the surrounding area like he belongs there. Other things at the site, their ambiance seems to be somewhat dangerous, but the event is taking place at a safe distance. Seems to have music playing. People appear to be singing along. Seems familiar to those in the area. Event seems staged as there's security in the area. There was a statue that he saw and a person playing a musical instrument. Reminded me of buskers playing music in the New York City subways for donations. Sounded like firecrackers popping off. And smells, distinct smell of daisies. Saw various animals playing, appeared to be in the area or part of the event. And that is all of his summary. I wonder if 2 or 3 people have said something about the dangerous element. Vegas, who knows? You had trapeze artists around the corner or something. Okay. Let me just pull up Lee's session. Is she still with me? Yeah, she's here. I just have to. There we go. Switching us over again. Guy's gonna have to go take some medicine for motion sickness. That's right. Let me shrink it just a little bit. Okay, whoop, that didn't do it. 3 pages. And Lee, as I recall, you are a student of Pam's, and I am trying to bring up the chat area. Let's see if you have a mic. Okay. I just took your mute off, and you're a student of Pam's, so you have some ways of viewing here that are not what I am strictly used to as the way you record things. So you took your coordinates, and you got long, dark, stringy things with reddish areas, and there's a white gift box. Can form from a flat piece. And somebody picking up somebody drinking coffee. Maybe green things, maybe in the water. Maybe a small amount of light. And you're picking up a motorbike, possibly a symbolic, a volcano ready to erupt, a symbol, as in, I wonder if you're meaning AOL or stray cat. And now you are divers with proper diving gear. I downloaded Pam's curriculum and didn't have time to do it. So this is evidently, you know, if I were watching Sensing Murder, this would probably make a lot of sense, the way you guys perceive things. The thing is, you're getting things from all over the site and then getting some perceptions that don't really match, like divers and motorcycles. So I'm not really sure here. I moved to your typed up summary. Very dark place with long, thin, slimy looking things hanging down. And might be dark green. And because it looks like you're typing out most of the perceptions that you got in session. Feels like a symbol with your volcano. And you're seeing books. Underwater flares that are reddish orange. Aha! Fish. If they did have fish in that pool, they're probably goldfish. What am I trying to say? Not goldfish and not carp. What are those kinds of fish? My next door neighbor has them. And no, it's not piranha. Shiny looking blade-like pointed, possibly metal thing with a sharp tip. In an old rundown Victoria house or building, it's dark. and you're seeing horses. Okay, and got a phone call in the middle of your session that was kind of like somebody breathing and kind of distracted you. That would be. Okay, Lee, you can talk or type. I'm trying to, there we go. I typed it all up. Okay. If your mic works, you can jump in, or if not, I'm watching to see if you type in any comments or questions. Do you feel like you had good side contact based on the way you folks work over in Pam's camp? Trust me, you don't want to sing. You don't want me to sing to fill in the time. If any of the rest of you are good at it, feel free. I could play Jeopardy music. It never comes out well in the recording. Well, back to looking at the feedback picture. I'm looking for things like divers and, motorcycles, anything that your subconscious might have latched onto that would be an association. I'm not seeing any. There are all kinds of things hanging down that could be perceived. There is that plant there with red that's hanging down. And I'm sure that there is definitely some vegetation that's moist and could be perceived as slimy. I'm not sure because I don't want to mess with the way you get information already. But if you can take what Lynn said about moving to the assigned target and describing, because you could be, the Bellagio is a huge place with lots of activity, and there's the surrounding area. And so especially if you moved above the target and without actually giving a move command that I could see there, you're moving around and picking stuff up. You just didn't write it down, and that's okay. It's just that it doesn't let me know what you were doing. So for reporting mechanism, if you were trying to view a certain part of the target, if you could give some kind of an indication at the beginning of the top of the page, move to the assigned target and describe, which in this case is this photo right here. And not the parking lot, and not the surrounding mountain valley, topography. It's this room right here. So maybe it would keep you focused and centered, and you can still get plenty of stuff and still be curious and look around, because curiosity makes an excellent viewer. And so that way you have plenty of stuff to poke your nose into and describe, but if you stay at the assigned target, then it's a little narrower focus. I don't know if that might help. And again, I'm staring over here to see if you're going to type anything in. And I don't know how often you're practicing. In various groups, there's been a lot of talk about making sure that you one day on and one day off, even for the professionals who did this operations, they recommend a day off in between. I mean, you want to go at it hardcore, but for a better turnover of your time, better output, they recommend a day off in between, and Lynn has all his exercises for improvement. Ambiance exercises, they're in the 7th sense. I'm not plugging his book to go buy one, but they're there. Or he did have them on the website. They've been scrubbing it for viruses and stuff. I think they're done, but. And Janine says, I always move around a lot. I get glimpses of things. Yeah, because that way you don't get stuck. And like your pen, just then you don't freeze. If you move from place to place, as long as you're not going around, you know, so helter-skelter that you don't get anything like 2 flashes and describe something in 2 perceptions, that you could have done a little more thorough job before you move on to the next thing, but only you know what you're being prompted to do. It's your session. So, you know, you may get something that describes the blue, the white, the ribbony, draping, and then you want to explore draping. So you go down and you put that word draping in parentheses, and then you know, get even more perceptions like how long they are, or hanging from the ceiling, or several, or linear. You know, anything like up at the top, there's white above and below, and blue in the middle. You know, only I can't really guide you as far as how long you stay in one place. So. And it's 9:30. We have a little extra time. If anybody would like to jump in with anything general, we could try and go over. And describe the location. Target is a location. Describe the target. But that is about all I have. And maybe I went through those sessions too fast. It seemed like we had so many. I didn't think we'd ever get through all those one page at a time. Well, if nobody has anything else, I'm going to call it a night. And anybody have the next target? Oh, there we go. Oh, you're welcome. And Adeline is thanking all of you for sending your sessions in. And our next little gathering is the 20th. You're welcome. And I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Good night, John Boy, even though you're not here. Oh, and I should say something about Ingo. Yes, all of you, I'm sure, are aware that Ingo Swan passed away last week. He was 79, almost going to be 80 this year, and he will be missed. He was, I never met him, but just to read everything that he wrote on his website, BioMind Superpowers, and he had such unbelievable thoughts about so many things. I mean, he was intelligent just to have a conversation and be able to write about everything that was on his website. But he did not have a limited mental vocabulary. I mean, he knew so much about so many things. And like Lynn speaks Mongolian. I asked him once, because I thought it would sound musical, speak Mongolian for me. And he says, I can't. I said, what do you mean you can't? And he says, I can't. But he ran into some checkout line he was in. There was a girl, and he recognized her as Mongolian. And he said something, or she, whatever, and immediately they started to converse. And so, you know, with somebody like Ingo, you realize there are people like him, not exactly like him, but people are amazing. You stand next to somebody in an elevator, and until they start to write or talk, and if you gave them, do this for me or say this for me, and it's like being in session, they're like, huh? But then you start to talk, and things start to flow, and it's like improv, and one thing leads to another, and you're passing it back and forth, like call and response in music, and things just go. And that was the way with Ingo. I mean, just to talk to him for 5 minutes, you know, you get a teensy little glimpse of what a person he was. Then you start to read all the stuff that's on his website. If you haven't, I'd highly recommend it. It's pretty unbelievable just how intelligent he was. So there's a lot of debate out on the boards and the e-groups right now, you know, about who he was and where he came from insofar as remote viewing and what he led us to believe and how the methodology came about and who the major players were. But there's an interesting thread that Tunde put up on the IRVA list just today, I think. And people are starting to share memories of him and really cool stuff. So if you belong to the IRVA, and if you don't, it costs $40. But you know, I'd recommend it if you can. But anyway, if you belong to the IRVA list and you don't get the emails, you might want to sign in just to see the reminiscences that are coming through about Ingo. And there have been a lot of posts out on Facebook and the e-groups. Paul Smith has shared Ingo is survived by one sister, and some of his interests, I think, were Meals on Wheels and the IRVA, and I'm trying to think what the others were. He had like 3 or 4 things. Instead of flowers or sending money, if you wanted to support his favorite causes, they're listed. So anyway, we're all saddened with his passing. Paul was able to get him to come to the IRVA a few times, and he enjoyed himself. I wish I went the year before and the year after, and I missed the year that he was actually there, so I never met him. And I would have liked to. So anyway, with that, I will see all of you in a couple of weeks. Thank you for coming and sharing, and without the discussion, we wouldn't be anywhere. Good night.